Hi, I'm Michael Cohen. I'm a Dallas elder law and estate planning attorney, and I'm joined by my good friend Don Crawford Jr., who I've done radio shows jointly with for many years in the past. And so he so graciously agreed to continue as we've used to do right at the radio station. So on our topics, he never knows what we're going to talk about, or he usually asks me different questions. And so we'll continue that trend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Today, I thought I'd talk about what happens when somebody has abused a financial power of attorney. In this case, a son was named as the agent under the financial power of attorney. All right. So a financial power of attorney usually gives somebody else the authority to act on your behalf, usually either immediately or upon disability. So you have a choice, usually at most Texas documents, as to when it should be effective. Usually it's recommended if you trust the individual to be effective immediately.
Mhm.
But here's a case where somebody shouldn't have been trusted. All right, so this case, which was one that was recent, the son who was named as the agent sold mom's house. Mom had some dementia, and he took the $200,000 or so from the sale of the house and transferred the money to himself. Okay. So, what are the different problems with this? What are the ramifications? What are the consequences for doing that? And there are several. In fact, there's at least 10, but I'll
Right.
see how many I could get to that I
Okay.
could think of. One was the fact that the power of attorney itself limited the amount that a transfer could be made to well, it didn't even say the annual exclusion, it said $10,000. Nowadays, the annual exclusion is $19,000. So a lot of times people have in their financial power of attorney, you can make a gift of up to 19, the annual exclusion, which is now 19,000 in year 2026.
Okay.
In this case, it said 10,000. Well, he transferred 200,000. So what is that? That's a breach of fiduciary duty, not to mention elder abuse because mom is older. Mom's in her 80s, and he abused the power. The power said you can only make gifts of up to 10,000. He gave himself, which is self-dealing, 200,000.
Terrible.
So what could be demanded by a court? First of all, there could be a demand for restitution.
Hmm.
Restitution. You have to pay mom back. You
Right.
have to pay mom back. Another would be a court could say that you're subject to punitive damages. Okay, you did something really bad. We're going to penalize. Not only you have to pay back the money that you gave, but you're going to have to pay back more because this is excessive. And actually, it could be not only a civil judgment, but it could be a criminal proceeding. And in Texas, when you exceed the amount, they look at the amount of was given, and the from misdemeanor to a felony. In this case, 200,000, I think, is what's called a second degree felony, where you could spend 2 to 20 years in jail, and there's a fine in addition to that. So there could be criminal charges pressed. Um, Also, besides, so there could be jail time. Of course, the court would remove the person from acting as an agent, and you couldn't serve as a executor once you've been convicted of a felony or a crime of moral turpitude for that matter. You can never serve as an executor. And by the way, if you ever applied for Medicaid, I said mom had dementia. They presume that gifts made within 5 years were done on purpose to get eligible for long-term care Medicaid. So if mom didn't have insurance or inadequate income or resources, then it could have also created ineligibility. Now, if there was a police report filed, uh, then that would be an exception. They would say it's a presumption of guilt, but we could say this was done not for Medicaid purposes, but uh, and if because it was a crime, but just to let you know that that could be a problem for Medicaid. And if the person, the agent, the son, got this funds, let's say that he got sued.
Hmm.
Well, now it's his money, so his money is subject to his creditors.
Interesting. Wow.
Let's say that he became disabled. It's his money. When the court has guardianships,
Hmm.
that's the money of the ward, and you have to spend the money on him and not on mom.
Okay.
So there's a problem there too from a guardianship perspective. And so that's something that we would have to be concerned about. And of course, if he died, then there would probably be a state litigation saying that was some sort of advancement and that needs to be repaid to mom. Um, you know, if mom had and when you transfer something when somebody's in a weakened state, their mind is in a weakened state, then you're it's likely obviously to be overturned the action and because it's obviously in this case, if the kids want to demand an accounting, so who could demand an accounting? Either mom, but she lacks capacity, but the
Right.
other siblings of this child who abused mom. Not to mention, it should go, a lot of times people report them to Adult Protective Services for the elder abuse. In Dallas County, we are fortunate to have the Senior Source, which is a financial safety abuse center, something called like that. So financial safety, whatever. There's a center with the Senior Source that tries to protect it. It's like a hub. It links you with um, the district courts for the criminal courts for action or the probate courts. So the DAs, the probate courts for guardianship, maybe adult protective services. So it links everything. And there's a similar type of um, organization in Tarrant County as well for citizens of those respective counties. So we're fortunate that we have these hubs and locally, which were a model for the nation, I might add. So thank you, Senior Source, for coming with now this has been around for a while, for a plan that helps out many who have been unfortunately abused. And we see this a lot of times that happens more often from the kids, the people who are closest to you, than you might think. So, um, I guess you'd say truth or consequences. This son um, did what was in his own best interest, while mom is in an assisted living facility. And there are consequences for your action, just like you have to take personal responsibility for anything that you may do. So, you know,
Like you said, you told me from the beginning, 10, 15 years ago, that money does strange things to people, and you think you know this person, and then money shows up, and then you don't. And that's very sad.
yeah, I mean, a lot of times we want in the financial power of attorney in planning for public benefits, there are different strategies for um, giving more assets so that government could pay for care quicker. However, you better trust the individual. Remember, even if you made the power of attorney effective immediately, if you have capacity, then you could always revoke a power of attorney.
Right.
This case, she lost capacity. So, so unfortunately, it used to be like they say if you're like a wildebeest on the Serengeti plain, they're going to take advantage of those who are weaker.
Yep.
And unfortunately, their own son did that. Maybe he'll come to his senses. And by the way, for Medicaid, if he pays back the money or he pays her bills, it reduces the transfer penalty, the 5-year look back period, to the extent that he gave back.
Mm,
But really, he already breached his fiduciary duty because he really didn't have the authority to make that gift.
terrible. Well, I don't know about you, Michael, or me, but probably there are plenty of people who are watching this video right now and asking themselves, do I have a power of attorney? Do I need a power of attorney? And that's why they should attend your next workshop, which is next month. And just go to your website, dallaselderlawyer.com, to determine exactly when the next one is. Is it typically a Saturday at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, typically it is a Saturday. We had one on February 7th, but this may not be heard for some time. So every month we have a different workshop, and you could either check the calendar or on our website, dallaselderlawyer.com, or call us at 214-720-0102. That's 214-720-0102, and they'll tell you about the free 2-hour estate planning essentials workshop. For those people who do go to the workshop, I might add, get a free vision meeting. So you get 3 free hours of legal education without any charge. Now, I must say, in all the years that we've done the workshop, I don't recall anybody who's asked me about the breach of fiduciary duty and stealing from their mom. But you never know.
And yours is from an actual client of yours. You're not making it up. You're
Well,
not
it
you're
was
not explaining something that you read. It happened to you, or it
well,
happened to one of your clients.
well, I certainly did not represent the party who stole.
Okay, yeah, right, exactly.
Okay.
I'm good to hear that. Okay, well, good.
Well, I thank you, Don, and I hope that, powers of attorney could be done in many different ways. It should be tailored to the person that whoever you're doing the power of attorney for. But again, as long as you have capacity, you could undo it, or you could have it effective upon disability. But still, it goes by how much power you've given in the power of attorney, and there's broader ones and more limited ones. So
Great.
if you're interested in more about that, just contact us or come to that workshop. Thank you, Don.